Hey there, Nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and welcome to another episode of We of the Underhive. This series is dedicated to helping brand new players to Necromunda build their starting rosters and learn more about the game mechanics of their favorite gangs. And on today's episode, we will discuss playing a brand new narrative gang, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. That's right, it's actually a really kind of like Disney-inspired type of list. And in this video, we'll discuss playing the very interesting narrative build by talking about the gang's inspiration, its narrative background, as well as discussing its playstyle. We'll provide a 2,000 credit starting roster for you to use in your very first campaign, and provide information on how this gang can develop over the course of a campaign. And because this video is a little bit more of a deeper dive, I will put timestamps in the description box down below so that way you can click and navigate to the part of the video that interests you the most. So with that being said, let's talk about playing as a Disney princess as well as 7 dwarves in the world of Necromunda. Now the first question you might be wondering is, where the heck did I come up with this idea? Well, it just so happens I was actually surfing the Necromunda subreddit forum on Reddit, and I saw a post by a contributor named Texas Deathmatch. And Texas Deathmatch was actually building a narrative list that he was basically basing it on Snow White as well as the 7 Dwarves. And actually in this video I actually have some pictures of the game that he actually put together. And so I saw that list, I thought it was really cool, and I thought it'd be a really interesting and neat kind of narrative list to build, and to build it out properly for you guys. That way, if you wanted to, you could actually play this list. And as crazy as it may sound, based on the work that he did and the list that I cooked up, it's actually very competitive. I was looking at the list the way it's laid out. It's actually really well done. Not to pat myself on my own back, but at the same time, though, so if you really wanted to play something interesting, you could actually do it with this gang, and that's where it comes from. So Texas Deathmatch, if you do surf YouTube and you do see this video, thank you so much for giving me the idea to make this video. I was really inspired by her work, and that's why I made this video for that. So that being said, now that we know where the inspiration for this gang list comes from, let's talk about its narrative background. So the narrative behind this is that the leader of the gang is an exiled Escher princess named Snow Vestia is in her name. Now for those of you guys who are actually really big lore buffs, you will know that House Escher has actually been divided between 2 different bloodlines of matriarchs who pretty much control the gang, the clan. It's either the Sabine bloodline or in this case, the Vestia bloodline. So the idea here is that with the Underhive session taking off and a lot of internal conflict taking place amongst the House of Escher and the House of Blades, that Snow Vestia has actually been kind of targeted by the Sabine bloodline, by the current matriarch, so because of that, she is trying to escape. She's trying to escape the intrigues of politics as well as backstabbing that is plaguing the noble houses and great houses of Necromunda, as she just wants to be able to get away from it all and pretty much, you know, get revenge on the people who did her wrong. And even though she's an exiled princess, though, she's still very much an Escher fighter, and she plans on getting her revenge. But luckily for her, though, she has some help. So the help that she gets, of course, is she meets a band of disgruntled squats who want payback as well. These guys are known as the Seven. The Seven are a group of outcast Ironhead squat prospectors who were actually exiled from their charter due to their tendency for violence. Now, don't get me wrong, for most Ironhead prospectors, violence goes hand in hand with their mission for making wealth and generating income for themselves. However, though, the Sevens particularly enjoy violence a little too much than the Ironhead prospectors are actually welcomed for, so because of that, their charter kicked them out. So with the 7 on the roam, meeting up with Princess Snow White-lined Nightmare Vestia, they decided to team up and become a match made in hell. So because of that's where we get this group from. So Snow Vestia now has a nickname. Her nickname is Snow White-lined Nightmare, and the 7 have teamed up together to cause all kinds of destruction and chaos. So let's go on and talk about the starting roster. This is Texas Deathmatch's Snow White and the 7 list. It is a Venator gang that's going to be used for the Romantic Succession at costing over 2,000 credits. The primary skill for this gang, because for Venators they get to choose their primaries and secondaries. So the true primaries for this gang are going to be Savant as well as Shooting, and their secondary skills are going to be Cunning as well as Combat. So now that we're done talking about exactly their primary skills and what kind of gang it is, let's talk about the individual fighters. So once again, I decided to base this gang list on the photos I was seeing that Texas Deathmatch had on his forum feed at the time. So this is the miniature he actually created, and he actually converted himself. This is going to be his Snow White leader. So I call this lady Snow White-lined Nightmare Vestia, Snow White for short, and she is a Venator leader to cost you 420 credits. Now the statistics we're to go with are the versatile statistics, which are 5-inch movement allowance, 3+ weapon skill, 3+ ballistic skill, 3 strength, 3 toughness, 2 wounds, 3 initiative, 2 attacks, 7 leadership, 6 cool, 6 willpower, as well as 6 intelligence. Now we're going to spend 30 credits in order to purchase the House Escher Legacy for her, so that way she can purchase House Escher equipment for her gang. We're also going to give her mesh armor as well to give her a 5-up armor save, and we're equipping her with a melted gun because melted guns are absolutely fantastic, and according to this picture I'm seeing here, that's what this character is equipped with as well. Melted guns are the absolute pwn, so you should always try to go for one if you can. We're also equipping her with a servo claw, and the reason why is because this character also carries a servo claw based on the skelt as well as a stiletto sword. So this character will be able to fight with 2 attacks in close combat. So when they charge into close combat, they'll actually get 5 attacks that they can use between their stiletto sword, which is a great toxin weapon for high wound characters, as well as a servo claw, which is of course just a great general overall close combat weapon. She's also equipped with photo goggles, so that way she can see in all visibility condition, and we're also going to spend some credits to get her the Psyker upgrade. Specifically, we're giving her telepathy discipline, so that way she has fearful aura. That way if anybody wants to charge directly against her into close combat, they have to pass a willpower test before they can do so. And we're giving her the telepathic ability of mind control, because having her ability to control people with her mind seems kind of like a very narrative thing. I'm kind of referring back to the old Disney cartoon where they see the huntsman about to kill Snow White and she convinces him not to, so we're going to pretend that she was using mind control on this person. That's why she has that ability. And we're giving her the Iron Will skill for the leadership skill tree, and the reason why is because there's not many fighters in this list, so because that bottle test will become a issue for you, so having -1 to your bottle test results can be very, very important for this gang. And that pretty much makes up Snow Whiteline Nightmare Vestia. So the background picture is the character for Doc that Texas Deathmatch made, and this guy's going to be one of your Venator champions. It's costing 175 credits. And for the statistics we're going for this guy's, for this characteristics, we're going to the squat characteristics. He's got 3-inch movement, 4+ weapon skill and ballistic skill. He's got 3 strength, 4 toughness, 2 wounds, 5+ for initiative, 2 attacks, 6+ for leadership, 6+ for cool, 6+ for willpower, as well as 5+ for intelligence. Now he's going to be equipped with mesh armor, giving him a 5-up armor save, as well as a combo weapon, which is going to be a combination of both autogun as well as grenade launcher with frag grenades. That way you can get this guy's specialty autogun ammo if you want to later on. You can also get this guy different grenades to use to lob at characters as well. We're giving this guy an auto pistol for backup weapons, that we can also purchase mana stopper rounds for this weapon, give him strength 4 shooting attacks, as well as giving him photo goggles that we can shoot in all visibility conditions. And we're giving him the Medicae skill. And the reason why we're giving the Medicae skill because this guy is Doc. Clearly he is the original leader of the Seven, and his role for his group of course was to maintain the health and welfare of his workers back when he used to be part of the Ironhead Squat Prospector Charters. So because he takes his Medicae skill with him onto the battlefield. So the reason why we also want the Medicae skill as well is because there's not many fighters in this list. There's only 8 fighters in total, so having the ability to patch up your fighters while on the battlefield could be extremely important. So we're going to be using Doc as kind of like a support kind of champion. He lobs off grenades with his grenade launcher, shoots with his autogun when he can. What he really does though is he moves up and he heals up his fellow fighters who have been injured. Now, at the time I made this video, the miniature for Sneezy wasn't made yet, but that's okay though, because we're going to create our own version of Sneezy. He's going to be a Venator champion. It's going to cost you 320 credits. And once again, we're going with the squat characteristics for this character. So he's going to have 3-inch movement, 4+ weapon skill and ballistic skill, 3 strength and 4 toughness, 2 wounds, 5 initiative. He's also got 2 attacks, 6 leadership, 6 cool, 6 willpower, and 5 intelligence. Now, this guy is Sneezy, of course. He's got mesh armor for 5 armor save, and he's going to be using a Nightshade Chem Thrower, because the reason why Sneezy is always congested all the time because he messes with chemicals all the time. It's affected his nostrils, so because of that his nasal cavities don't work anymore, so he's always sneezing all the time. And he also uses his Gesundheit, which is the Nightshade Chem Thrower weapon that he uses to actually intoxicate his enemy with the same chemicals that he uses. He also has a stiletto knife in order to protect himself in close combat if he needs to, as well as a respirator because he is messing around with dangerous gas inflicting chemicals. He's also got chem set, so all he has to do is pass an intelligence test to get his weapon even more deadly with a toxin trait, and on a 5+ intelligence he's going to be able to do that easily. He's got photo goggles so he can see in all visibility conditions, and we gave this guy hip shooting so that way he can move twice and then open fire with his weapon. Now, granted, that'll drop into ballistic skill 5 if he does that, but he's using a template weapon anyways, so it's not like it's going to matter because template weapons automatically hit their target, so that's exactly what he uses. So Sneezy's whole job is to use the Gesundheit, his Nightshade Chem Thrower, and to run around and just kind of make guys go out of action with toxin attacks. And because this is a Venator gang, we can have another champion for this gang. This character's name is Happy is his name, and he's going to be the last of the Venator champions that you can have. So we'll have 3 champions in this gang. He's going to cost 275 credits. So let's talk about Happy, and that's the miniature the guy actually made, Texas Deathmatch made, and so that's why we based this list off of. So Happy's got a 3-inch wound allowance, as well as 4+ weapon skill and ballistic skill, 3 strength and 4 toughness, 2 wounds, 5 initiative, 2 attacks, 6 leadership, 6 cool, 6 willpower, as well as 5 intelligence. He has mesh armor for 5-up armor save, as well as a mining laser, and attached to that mining laser is an infrasight. So that way you can shoot in all visibility conditions, and enemies don't benefit from partial cover as well. The mining laser is a powerful high strength weapon that causes a lot of damage. You can use it against enemy vehicles. You can also use the snipe at enemy high value targets, whatever the case may be. This guy's also packing a last pistol, so that way he has a backup weapon, and we gave him the trick shot ability, so that way he can also make sure he can ignore partial cover when he opens fire with that weapon. Basically, you get +2 to hit because of the fact you got the infrasight as well as the trick shot ability to help you kind of take out targets at distance. Now Happy uses his mining laser, which he calls kindness, because he kills his enemies with kindness is what he does, and he uses kindness, the mining laser, to achieve his objective. This guy is one of your long range shooters. Use him pretty much like a sniper to kind of take people out of action from long distances, and also to go after high toughness targets like vehicles and leaders and champions. So our next fighter, of course, is Sleepy, and that is based on the miniature that you see in the background behind the text. Now, Sleepy is also a Venator hunter. He costs 200 credits, and we're using the squat characteristics of this character. So he's got a 3-inch wound allowance, 4+ weapon skill and ballistic skill, 3 strength and 4 toughness, 5 intelligence, 5 initiative, 1 attack, 6 leadership, 6 cool, 7 willpower, as well as 6 intelligence. Now, Sleepy's going to be equipped with mesh armor to give him a 5 armor save, and he's going to use the Night gun, which is the name of his needle rifle. His needle rifle does have infrasound on it, so that way he can take out people with that needle rifle and also render them unconscious. That's why he's called Sleepy, because he puts his enemies to sleep. He's also packing a needle pistol as well for a close backup weapon, as well as a suppressed weapon, as well as stiletto knife for close combat. Now, the nice thing about needle weapons like needle rifles and needle pistols, both weapons are silent trait attached to them, so that way Sleepy can use this for stealth missions and not raise the alarm. Plus, the stealth knife is also nice. Since this guy's using weapons that use a toxin trait, we're going to give him Kim Synth as well, which that way if he tests his intelligent text, makes his toxin traits even deadlier. And he's also the gang specialist, and the reason why is because needle rifles obviously are special weapons, so that's the reason why he's carrying that as well. Now, at the same time, my suggestion to you guys is, as soon as you can, try to get Kim delivery darts, which costs, I believe, 10 credits in order to purchase those, as well as get the chemical known as Calma, which costs 25 credits. The reason why is because when you combine those 2 chemicals with a needle rifle, you could put people out of action and render them unconscious, and really make Sleepy live up to his name when you decide to upgrade your gang that way. Now, at the same time, we also have another character named Bashful. So Bashful is a Venator hunter. At the time of this video was being made, Bashful, the miniature, wasn't actually made yet. He's going to cost 165 credits, and he's also using the same squat characteristics that we mentioned before for Sleepy as well. This guy's got mesh armor, and since he is a shy guy, he likes to stay far away from his targets. So because he likes to use a long rifle with an infrasight to engage at enemy targets at distance. Bashful is called Bashful because he doesn't like being around people too much. He likes to stay away from them. He likes to kill his opponents softly where they don't see it coming, using long-range fire in order to do so. He's also got a stow gun for a backup weapon. I would highly suggest getting dum-dum rounds with this guy as soon as possible, so he's got a strength for shooting attack. And he's got a grapnel launcher, so that way Bashful can climb up vertically anywhere within 12 inches, that way he can get to nice, high, elevated positions far away from people down below, so that way he doesn't have to worry about being so shy, and he can pop fools with his long rifle at the same time. So that's the character of Bashful. And now let's talk about my personal favorite of the Seven Dwarves. This is Grumpy. He's a Venator hunter, costs 195 credits as well. Once again, using the squat characteristics for this character, just like his brothers. He's also got mesh armor for 5-up armor save as well. And we're giving this guy a heavy rock drill because these guys are, of course, supposed to be dwarf miners. So because of having some mining equipment, also kind of helpful for that. And a heavy rock drill, which is an amazing weapon as well. It's got really great armor penetration, does a lot of damage. And plus, Grumpy likes to use the auger, which is his giant rock drill, to, stick it to his enemies because it's kind of painful. He's also got a backup weapon, which is a stub gun, so that way he can use it in shooting if he has to, and he can also use it in close combat if he, is able to use his weapon with an unwieldy trait on it. And he's also got photo goggles as well, so that way he can see in all visibility conditions. So Grumpy, he lives up to his name. His whole goal is to get up to your face and smash you in the face with his heavy rock drill, because that's just how Grumpy rolls. And the very last of the Seven Dwarves is Dopey. Once again, he is a Venator hunter as well, with costing 165 credits. He's got the squat characteristics that all the rest of the other Venator hunters also have as well. He's also equipped with a mesh armor, and the reason why this guy is called Dopey is because while his brothers like to bring guns to a gunfight, Dopey, he's so silly, he likes to bring power axes and power picks to a gunfight. Because Dopey just never had gotten around his head how to operate a firearm. He just thinks that it's too complicated. Why do something complicated when you can pick up a power axe or a power pick and just smash people in the face instead, and it basically achieves the same result. So Dopey is your close combat fighter. He's the guy who's going to basically forgo all cautions, not using any ranged weapons whatsoever, because, you know, ranged weapons are putting life on easy mode. What would be a real pro move to do is actually use your close combat weapons to achieve your objectives. And plus, he doesn't know how to use guns anyways. We also give this guy photo goggles as well, so that we can see in all visibility conditions, and that makes it the player of Dopey. And if you decide to venture out to the Ash Waste, you might get 400 credits extra to put a vehicle for yourself. May I suggest the Charming Prince, which is a Ironhead Squat Prospector Gearhead who costs 425 credits. The reason why is because the Charming Prince actually has photo goggles that we can see in all visibility conditions, and at the same time he's using a Scalving Explorator, which is basically the Ironhead Squat Prospector vehicle. It's got tracks on it, so it makes it really easy. It's got Ironhead Container, so that way you get additional credits every single time you do a mission with this vehicle, and at the same time give you a steep discount on chems if you want to get those as well. It's also got a blade of armor as well as redundant drive system and an engine shell to make it last longer and to keep on surviving. And this gang, of course, will have a Rogue Dog as a hanger-on, so it costs 50 credits. This guy's got a Last Pistol Medicaid Kit, Medicaid Skill, as well as a Patch-Up Special Rule. Always important to have a Rogue Dog hanging by because those guys are worth their weight in gold, just in case one of your fighters does suffer a critical injury. So now that we're done talking about the starting roster, let's talk about exactly how you use the playstyle for this gang. So this gang is actually a pretty very balanced gang between both shooting as well as close combat. Pretty much your assault fire team is going to consist of Snow White, that's going to use her multi-gun, as well as Sneezy, which is the guy who's armed with the Nightshade Chemthrower, Grumpy, the guy who's armed with the power of the Rock Drill, and Dopey, which is the dwarf who's armed with the close combat weapons because he doesn't know how to use guns. Your support fire team is going to be Doc, which is the character with the grenade launching autogun. You also have Happy as well as Sleepy. Those are the guys who are armed with the mining laser as well as the needle rifle, as well as Bashful is armed with the long rifle, and the Prince Charming once you get heavy weapons for that vehicle. The idea behind this, of course, is going to use very simple fix and flank with suppression as well as assault. Your support fire team will take on an enemy head on, trying to suppress your opponents with long range shooting, while your assault fire team goes in from a flank and tries to cut your enemy across by giving them a crossfire or engaging on multiple levels of a full envelopment. And of course, as always, because in case you run into a mission that requires stealth, make sure you use Sleepy to do that, because Sleepy does have a needle weapon as well, needle weapons which are completely silent, and that'll help him to achieve stealth on those missions. Now, as for campaign development, the first thing you should go for are things like specialty ammo for your sidearms, as well as close combat weapons for those who need them. So things like dum-dum rounds and man-stopper rounds for stub guns and auto pistols. You can also get hotshot last packs for those who are armed with last guns, or things like that Kalma with the chem darts, like I mentioned for that. Those are kind of specialty ammo we're usually talking about. And as for close combat weapons, for those who need it, I would suggest giving just normal axes or power axes if you're able to do so. Power axes are great because they can only be parried by powered weapons, but axes just by themselves are another great close combat weapon. Gives you +1 to your strength and do plenty of damage as well. Things you also want to get for your gang, of course, are things like grenades, for example. Getting some gas grenades would also fit with these guys really well, since you do have the Escher character in this, so using gas and toxin weapons will be really great because, as we all know, and the Snow White fairy tale, poison apples and poisons and toxins feature predominantly in that fairy tale. So throwing like gas grenades that look like toxin apples could be kind of cool and kind of neat to do that as well. Also, another big purchase that you're really going to be spending a lot of your money on and your credits on are heavy weapons for your Scalving Explorator. So that way you have heavy weapons that you can use on the battlefields in the case of that vehicle's there. You can use things like the Rapid Fire Heavy Flamer, Ironhead Heavy Flamer, or the Rapid Fire Ironhead Heavy Stubber. These are all really great weapons to invest in. So in conclusion, thank you Texas Deathmatch for such an awesome idea that you posted on the Necromunda Reddit forums. It was just really cool to see this kind of concept, and once I saw the photos that you were doing and some of the work that you had in mind, my creative juices started flowing, so I decided to make this list in order to do this. And it was actually a ton of fun to make, as well as coming up with the narrative background for the fighters as well. And as crazy as it is, I'm actually thinking about tempted to actually trying this gang out. This gang is actually quite powerful the way it was kind of kitted out. It's kind of well balanced as well. It looks like it has a really fun game mechanic, so I'm interested in actually playing this. So expect seeing this list sometime in the future if I'm able to do it, because this game looks like a lot of fun to play. So what are you guys' thoughts about this list? How would you do things differently if you could with the Snow White and Seven Dwarves narrative? If you have any ideas or suggestions, please drop it down in the comments box down below. So that way, if I think your idea is cool, I will actually make a video and dedicate it to you as well. So that's good for you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this week, guys. I'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.